I'm going to begin, Joe, just asking, I mean, this is a sort of Churchill I feel like we haven't really seen before. I think for all of his... I think obviously he's become a kind of symbol of hope and kind of victory, but in that, in some ways, he's almost lost his humanity because he's become this kind of image.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that was part of the appeal for you, to really delve into his flaws and his humanity and show a side to him that we kind of lost in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, growing up in London, the biggest image of Churchill I have is of this great giant bronze statue standing on top of a plinth surveying the traffic at Parliament Square. He's not relatable to, and so the idea was to kind of gently bring him down from that plinth and meet the man face to face and see who he was, and not, I didn't want to kind of throw him to the gutter, as often when people take icons and they're either kind of lionising people or they're demonising people. I just wanted to meet him as a man, really, and see what I could learn from him.
I'm sure when you sort of started making the movie, it must have felt like there's not been much of Churchill in the film or on TV for quite a while. But since then, I suppose you've obviously had The Crown, and I think there's the Brian Cox movie, and then obviously Dunkirk as well. Is that quite frustrating for you to have seen all of those other productions take place around the build up to this?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess a little bit, but it's not. I just keep going, in true Churchillian fashion. I just get on with making my work, and hopefully others will, appreciate it. And that's all.
And I was wondering, it seems a silly question because I can understand there's always a great reason to pick Gary Oldman for any role. But in this instance, most people would have assumed it would have been someone maybe perhaps a bit older, maybe someone even a bit fatter. What was it about Gary Oldman that made you think, this is my Churchill, knowing that, I guess he's not the first person that would have initially sprung to mind, I suppose?
Yeah, you either, you have a choice. You can either cast someone who looks like the character, or you can cast someone who has the essence of the character. And it's much easier to fake the look than the essence, So I was looking for I wanted someone who could convey the kind of dynamism, the kind of manic energy that Churchill had. And we know from Gary's, work that he's certainly capable of expressing intensity.
Ben Mendelsohn was another interesting choice, but do you think it can help in some ways for a foreigner to play that role? Because I guess in some ways they focus more on the man and not the king.
Exactly that. And I think that he, by casting an Australian, one was avoiding the kind of cultural baggage that comes with playing that role. Churchill
as a director must be an absolute dream as a character, because he had a way of manipulating the kind of English language to deliver some of the most rousing speeches of all time. So it allowed you, I suppose, to be overtly cinematic without it ever feeling contrived, because he actually would say those things.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a challenge, this film, because the screenplay is basically a lot of old white men in rooms talking to each other. So I had to find a way of expressing the narrative as cinematically as possible, and I conceived of the film as a kind of political thriller, and tried to kind of focus it on that.
And do you think we need a Churchill-like figure right now in British politics?
God, we need something in British politics, don't we? We need someone who's possibly not just out to get votes, but someone who's really speaking from a principled position.
And just very funny, obviously Stoner is up next with Casey Affleck and Tommy Lee Jones. What can you tell us about that one?
Nothing at the moment.
It's worth a go though, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!